Hello. I wanted to come on for really quickly and talk about events and just give some food for thought. Today, I was working on a dinner meeting and going through the details of the food, and it led me to think about, does the menu matter? I did two different meetings in two different cities, and the menus drastically were different. And I want to say this for those of you planning any type of in person events or have been doing it for a while. When you start to look at the venue and where you're going to host your event, um, request that catering menu early, because you don't want to get caught up and book the venue, book the event, and then when it comes to the food, it's not to the level that it needs to be. So, the example of these two meetings that I'm doing, the price is definitely different, and I think the price per person definitely reflects the menu offerings. So, one meeting is about a $50 per person price for dinner, and the other is about $100 per person pricing. Now, when you're talking about, dinner events, you want to make a decision whether it's going to be a buffet or a plated dinner. For this meeting that I'm doing, these are buffet dinners, and so I'll speak on that. I'll probably talk about plated dinner because that's a little bit different, and it really does depend on what you expect the outcome of the meeting to be, the layout, what your attendees are expecting. And so you want to put in some level of consideration whether it is going to be a buffet or a plated dinner. But for the sake of this, I'm talking about buffet dinner. So, like I said, two different offerings. Now, I first selected the one that was the $100 per person, and it was a lot of food, a plethora of food, and it even got me where I'm like, Is do I need to select something?" Um, and I was able to choose package right away. There were different options, actually. There was different types of food, um, and some were a little bit more exotic than others, which, depending on the event, if there is some type of theme, you want to take that into consideration. Do you want to do a different type of menu? But also keeping in mind, you want to have something available for everyone. So this one had basically, I just picked and said, "Here it is." I didn't really have to go through a lot, and it saved me a lot of time. There were options for everyone. There were meat options there. I mean, the food menu was great. But mind you, it's $100 per person. So that is a certain budget. But knowing that you're not going to have any issues with someone finding something. Now, next, I went to the next event, which was the $50 per person, and it did give me one suggestion, which was a fiesta package. So we're talking about, Mexican food and tacos, and I didn't want to go through that. I didn't want to. I almost picked it, actually, just because it was the only package available. But not everybody likes Mexican food. I think, it was too, like, you couldn't change it, you know what I mean? Like, you couldn't have chicken and then certain things separate. It was everything was kinda included with spices and things like that, and I just know a lot of people have different preferences. So then the next option was to, pick a customized menu, and so the $50 per person option was, a salad, a type of salad, 2 sides, and then, 2 entrees and a dessert. And actually, I think for $5 less, so about maybe $45, you can choose just 1 entree. So I upped it to 2 entrees. And it took a little bit more of a time to really kinda decide whether, um what options I was going to choose. It didn't leave a lot for any other type of dietary restrictions. Um, so something like that would probably just do a couple of just add-on options. But it was limiting. And then it took a little more time for me to make some selections. But it did fit in within the pricing. Um, But when I think about, at first the $100 per person option being a little bit steep, but when you think about it, it included in everything. You didn't have to worry about things. So sometimes, putting in a little extra makes sense. And it'll be interesting uh, because these two events will have a just a different experience. But yeah, so that's buffet. So, think about people are going to be, serving and getting their food and then entering into the meeting. So logistically, it's just a little different experience. But my question is, will the menu matter? When when all said and done, you pick a perfect location and a venue, and if the menu isn't up to your liking, will that matter? I'm really curious about what people have to say. So if you do have any thoughts or any stories, feel free to drop them in the comments. But I'd love to offer my expertise if you are debating or contemplating doing an event and need a little bit of assistance or even talking through what menu or what type of meal to have for your event. Let's talk about it. I have some free resources from the event resource hub that can subscribe, get some information, or you can also book me for a simple brainstorm session and we can talk. So that's it for today. And, I will talk to you soon.